today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I've known him for years and how he's trying to deny who he really is.
Do I think his personality is necessarily unique? No, that's why he has to steal someone else's, because he's boring.
He's lying to the world, and I want to set the record straight.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Vanessa and Owen have known each other for a long time, for over half a decade. With all that time under their belt, you could imagine that these friends know each other like at the back of their own hand. Despite this, Vanessa is now coming forward with claims that Owen has a troubling history with identity theft and lying. Let's take a look at what she is now calling a major and unrelenting identity crisis.
I've known Owen for years. We're unfortunately very close and we've gone through a lot together. I feel like I know him more than anyone I've ever met. Granted, I haven't met many people. Anyway, it's because of that I know the life he's been living is a lie. The strangers on social media and even his few friends. He's putting on this persona that isn't him, and not only is it an identity crisis, it's becoming straight up identity theft. I'm going to expose his facade now before it consumes him entirely. Also, I'm bored and I need some excitement.
Please welcome Vanessa Fonseca to our stage. Very nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you since you've been awarded the title Skinny Legend. I'd like you to elaborate a little bit more on this identity issue that you've been witnessing with your friend Owen.
Well, recently I felt as though Owen has adopted this identity that is his total opposite. He's presenting it on social media, in person, and in writing, when we all know it's a lie. I wanted to come on here today and expose him in a way that will help him before it's too late.
Well, that's what I'm here for, to help you analyze the situation so you guys can get back on the right track. Now, my team and I were made aware of a past identity issue that may or may not be connected to this one. You can let me know and we can figure it out together. Apparently, a fake Twitter account was made from a person trying to emulate Owen and stole his likeness. Now, did this incident happen to spark this identity crisis that you're seeing now, or what's the issue?
This has nothing to do with a Twitter account. It's an entirely different and even bigger issue.
Even bigger than having his own identity stolen?
Let me put it like this, Dr. Phil. It's identity theft to the astrological degree.
Don't you mean the astronomical degree?
I said what I said, Dr. Phil. This isn't about Twitters or stolen identities, or in the traditional sense, it's entirely worse. It's sign stealing.
Sign stealing?
Yes, sign stealing.
That's my screen. You don't have
sign stealing.
You don't have the authorization. So I'm afraid I'm not following. I don't know what sign stealing means.
Sign stealing. Owen claims he is a Cancer, and I've had enough of this toxic dishonesty. There is not a Cancerian bone in that man's body, and I am here to prove it.
So what you're telling me is you booked my show when I could be helping real people with real problems to squabble over signs?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, we're live, so I guess we're here now. Might as well be entertained and show us your evidence.
Owen claims to be a Cancer, but where is it?
Go on.
He is the most emotionless, insensitive person I have ever met in my life. One time, during an emotional talk, he pretended to wipe away a fake tear. I have never seen this man cry our entire friendship.
Now that seems like something I could dissect. This could be because...
Because he's not actually a Cancer, but an Aquarius. Those bitches don't have any emotions. To support my claim, I have expert in real-life Aquarius, Kira.
Showing emotion is a sign of weakness. Why would I do that?
I rest my case.
But how are you certain that he's an Aquarius and not any other sign? I think the audience and I are kind of perplexed about that.
I can't be certain he's one specific sign, but I know for sure he's not a Cancer. Another valid option, Capricorn. He's not as pessimistic or annoying as one, but he does have the work ethic of one. For example, he got a second job just so he could avoid me. That's dirty, like mud, like an earth sign, dirt sign, case in point.
Anything else that you think he might be?
Leo, big time Leo. He loves himself way too much. One time I was yelling at him for almost running over a lady and he told me to stop because he's too pretty. Classic narcissistic tendencies. My theory is that he lied about his birthday to get away with being a Cancer, when he was really born 20 days later, making him a true Leo. I would know. I was raised by a bunch of them.
That sounds crazy.
Almost as crazy as the idea of Owen being a Cancer.
You know, this sounds less like an olive branch extended for help and more like an expose.
I'm not even being mean. It's called being honest. I didn't even call him a Virgo. I would never stoop that low. Virgos are the...
I'm a Virgo.
Anyway, moving on. We also have literally any other fire sign. Here we have the testimony of 2 fire signs.
I'm a Sagittarius sun, but Owen makes me feel like a candle compared to a bonfire. If I was a stranger off the street and I had to guess his sun sign, Cancer would probably not be at the top of my list.
Owen is not a double water sign. I don't care what cafe astrology says. This man has more than a little Leo in him. I'm a Sagittarius with an Aries rising, and I can smell the fieriness off of him without even looking. I always had that feeling, but things really crystallized for me when we started living together, and I realized the crying ratio in our room was 3-to-1. That's 3 me, 1 Owen. Except during Pisces season. His Pisces moon was the one thing the universe got right.
I rest my case.
I think I've seen enough now. May I have a word? I'd like to share my own perspective since it is my show.
Of course.
Now, Owen may seem like he hasn't been the emotional type that is typically associated with a traditional Cancer. And looking at his chart here, provided by Vanessa and my team, seeing his Pisces moon may make even less sense. But the way I see it, Owen is less of a fraud, as you put it, and more of a balanced and well-rounded individual.
Rounded.
Owen may not be a crybaby, but it certainly sounds like he has a big heart. While he may have traits similar to other signs like you've mentioned, I believe, and no offense to you, my dear, that your Capricorn moon is looking at them a bit too negatively. The Aquarius emotionlessness isn't necessarily making him a heartless person, more so it is providing a balance to his emotions to make him a stable and yet empathetic person. Along with that, the Capricorn isn't him throwing himself into his work to avoid his relationships. Rather, I believe it is a show of his work ethic and capabilities. Now you see, he may not be pessimistic like a Capricorn, but he sure has the asexual appeal of them without the shitty personality attached. Not that I would know, I'm not really into signs. I think I'm just like getting hooked on this whole situation. He definitely sounds like he loves himself, but I do believe it is for good reason and well deserved. Just look at him.
Cause I be the baddie beat, Barbie tank, banging body beat, everybody beat, on my D, yo I gotta be, and be I let.
He is fiery, and to quote a very successful woman, Nicki Minaj, he an optimist, just like a Sagittarius. But his most fiery self is shown to defend and love his favorite people. What we are seeing isn't necessarily an identity crisis to an astrological degree, but instead a person who is a culmination of the best traits of each sign. I don't believe it will be far-fetched for me to say that maybe our viewers today could learn a thing or two from him.
What do you know? You're a Virgo. You don't know anything.
Oh my god, her valves are leaking.
Follow her. Get on her ass like the cameraman from the Maury show.
We're experiencing a bit of technical difficulties at the moment. We're gonna cut off and show you the next program and come right back. On the next episode of The Maury Show, we're doing a paternity test that is unrivaled to any other in the history of our show. This week, we determine if Claudio is the father of Cleo's offspring. What's even crazier, Cleo is his pet snake. The answer to the paternity test may surprise you. Looks like a tough spot to be in, Claudio. Hope Vanessa doesn't hit you with those hammers.
My boyfriend impregnated a fucking snake. I don't understand, why wouldn't he just use a condom?
Welcome back to the show. Before the break, we concluded today's episode, which was identity theft to an astrological degree. However, before we end the show today, I wanted to thank my audience for all of their support, and I wanted to emulate a dear friend of mine who you may have heard of before, Oprah Winfrey. I wanted to show my support throwback Oprah style. So for some lucky people out there in the audience, if you check under your seat, you will find a gift. You get a gift, and you get a gift, and more importantly, you get a gift. Happy birthday!
I want your ugly, I want your disease.